think I can only say in meters, but I think it was something like 300 by 900 meters.
See,
So,
the thing is with all of us here in the United States, we'll do everything we can not to use the metric system. So if you went, it was 75 elephants long, we'd be like, oh, yeah, I get that part. But if you go meters, we're like, I don't know what meters. Oh, how do we do meters? But anyway. Well, if you like movie magic, I got one hell of a treat for you today. But of course, like always, before we get into all this, I got a couple things I want to throw your way. This is one of two different types of episodes I have within the platform, about 90 minutes long. Today, I got Benedict, of course. On opposite weeks, it's just me, this microphone, no mercy, no notes, and I call it dome dump. Whatever's rattling around in my brain, I like to just spit it out. And I'm live on Facebook, X, Rumble, and YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, you need to get your ass over there and subscribe. I am this close to 1,000 subscribers, and it's like dancing with a hooker. I can smell her Aquanet and their cheap menthol lights, sometimes Pall Mall, you know, that kind of cigarette smoke. And I just can't get there. It's just like right there, you know. You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, jump over, YouTube, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, all right? And everything you need to know about the show is on the old website, brawpodcast.com. Sign up for the blogs. I've been having a great time with that. Everywhere you can listen. Got some cool pictures on there, all sorts of stuff. So jump over there, brawpodcast.com. And I'm a one-man show here. Everything I do, anything you see done with the show, it's me. Of course, me and chat have been getting along pretty good, so that helps me out. But I'm asking for a little help from you. If you like what I got going on over here, makes you think, makes you laugh, gets you pissed, whatever it does, tell a friend or seven. Speaking of help, I do get a little bit of help from a couple companies that have been riding with me from day one in this product. Both of them we use here at the HQ on the regular. First up is Craig over at High Speed Daddy. He's got active gear for like active parenting, lifestyle, that kind of stuff. Awesome gear, local company, and he'll school you in customer service. Make sure you check him out. And I got the crew down there in Arizona for Live Rishi. The Rishi rub is a staple in my gym bag. The tincture is a staple here at the house as well. Great stuff. High quality CBD rub and tincture. Same setup, local company. I love supporting local companies. Give them a look out. Link is in the show notes. And with Live Rishi here, if you use the code TABLE50, you're going to get 50% off your entire order. So it's an amazing time to check all that out. And both these groups, when you do check them out, give them shit for me when you get over there. All right, let's get on to this show, because today you are going to learn from the front row what it takes to put together a movie. Benedict, assistant director on a big movie. We're going to get into that. I'm not going to tell you about it because all the details are coming up. But overall, this guy's filmology is stacked. Awesome dude, heart of gold, good-looking dude. Sorry, ladies, he's happily married. He's got some stories on how this movie was made and some other movies. And we get in, of course, a lot of other things. But you know what? Like always, I'm going to let him tell you all about it. Let's get to it. My whole life, right? Since I've been like 19. And what I found out was, instead of beating somebody to death, like, hey, buy this, or, you know, hold your book up for 20 minutes and go buy this, let's talk about what you're built out of, right? And then at the end, I go, oh, wow, look, and you worked on this. And somebody goes, holy shit, I've been listening to this for 45 minutes. Benedict's a cool dude. And he did a fucking movie? What? You know what I mean? So that's kind of the format. Mm-hmm. And then we just keep moving there. So,
cool.
What are you over where are you at?
I'm in Munich in Germany right now.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Getting ready to go to work, right?
Yes, I'm getting ready for a location recce to 4 countries in a week's time.
So you're going to go to 4 countries in a week's time?
Yes. No, in a week's time, we're going to start going on that recce, and then we're going to like a location tour, and then we're going to go through 4 countries in 4 weeks.
Okay. So. You packing light?
I hope I get back for 4 weeks and we see.
Not like you're going to the moon, so there's probably a drugstore down the street, right? You can get what
Yes,
you need.
yes, yes, yes.
You ever
Not
watch that
only
TV show Reacher?
I started it, but
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it. So
What? Well, you know
no,
how he travels around with just a toothbrush.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. Change the clothes and a toothbrush. What else does a man need?
Yeah, usually I can work with a small luggage, and I last year I was like in China, Macau, only with 1.5 suitcases, and it lasted for the 4 months, so
Oh,
it
that's not.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so where's the first place you're going?
First, we're going to Brussels, Brussels in Belgium,
All
and
right.
then we're gonna be there for a week, and then we go to Amsterdam, Netherlands, which is just very close by, and then we go to Greece, and then we go to Ireland.
Damn, dude. So people that are watching or on YouTube, you notice Benedict here is a good looking fella. And he's not going on a modeling gig. This dude is actually an award winning assistant director, right? Did I get that right?
Correct.
All
That's
right.
correct. Thanks.
And you guys listening on audio only, get your ass over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm this close to getting 1,000 subscribers.
Wow,
And it,
congrats.
thanks, bud. And once it gets over 1,000, it just opens up a whole new world of stuff for. So I got like 924. So it's like, come on, man.
Nice.
It's like dancing with a hooker, dude. You're like this close, man. You're this close. But yeah, so you're gonna go around and the film you're about to work on, you can't really talk about though, right? Can you tell
I
me
can
anything about it?
I can't talk about it because some things are already have been published and are official. So yes.
So I completely understand that, but not like you don't have a resume of a ton of shit that we can talk about.
Yeah, yeah, but there are some movies we can talk about which are already published and they've been wherever in the cinemas and aired, and yes, so it's easier to talk about past movies because then
Well,
there are no
so
secrets.
I put Chat GPT to work on you, dudes, troll you. You made it
What
work.
came out?
You made it work pretty hard, man. It was sitting there searching for. It brought out a pretty good list. Of course, I've known you for what, 10, 12 years now,
Yes,
right?
probably, yeah.
And I know you're a talented dude. I know you do the stuff you do, but I didn't know you went through all this. God damn, bro. Why you got to keep that stuff a secret? Why do you hold that along, man? You got to tell people about that.
Yeah, it depends. It's really like it feels for me like I've been doing movies nearly my whole life. So I started really after school, just doing students' movies, and I didn't go to university or anything. So, and therefore it's so natural. It's a huge part of my life, always has been, and now I'm kind of like not. I started as really like very young, and now I'm meeting all the people, and I'm not the youngest anymore on set or in prep, so it's more like I'm one of the oldest already. So, but yeah, no, it's really interesting because I'm from Germany, where it's not like a huge. It's not a huge movie country, so people watch movies, and it's a huge market for US movies, but it's not like Germany usually doesn't produce a lot of movies that get internationally shown or something. And I started out on German movies a lot, and over I would say 15 years I was only doing German TV and German cinema. And then eventually I met, through circumstances, people that worked internationally, and then it kind of uh, it accelerated quickly. So in the last years, I only worked on international movies, and also on movies that won awards and won Oscars and those things.
Now, you being an assistant director, now I don't think do people go to film school to be an assistant director, or you just end up there somehow?
you end up there somehow. So there might be some assistant directors that studied something. But yeah, I think a lot studied something that is not movie related. A lot studied something, either literature or some kind of art, because that is one approach. Others came like me from like just after school, and they just started out as a runner on set or as a driver. So and then worked their way up. So, and but basically, there's no straightforward path to being an assistant director, and there's no school, no university that teaches you
Right.
so far.
So is there a, like we have Hollywood, right? Is there a spot like that in Germany, which would be considered like the hub of movie making, like a Hollywood of Germany or of Europe?
That, in Germany, there's some a place that called Babelsberg Studios, which are they are famous since over 100 years, but in comparison to Hollywood, they're small, but they're studios, and a lot of international productions go there. But they're in Berlin, and I'm based in Munich, so I wasn't even really connected to them so far. And for sure, the UK and London is basically the hub for movie making in Europe. But in the last years, or the last 15 years, especially in Eastern Europe, there have been two hubs that developed very quickly, and they are now attracting a lot of international movies, and a lot of American movies are shot there, which is Budapest in Hungary and Prague in the Czech Republic. And I worked in both places quite a lot because that's where a lot of movies are being produced.
Now, somebody I was listening to the other day say Ireland is quite common now to go to make movies too.
It is.
Yeah.
Ireland has, yes. First of all, there's no language barrier coming from the US to Ireland. That is one, and then they have a great tax incentive system. So if you go there, you can produce quite cheap, and also it's so close to the US, which helps a lot because traveling over there is a whole different thing than traveling to Budapest.
Sure. And then they probably got plenty of labor over there that's willing to work too, right?
Yeah, and they developed, I think, like 20 years ago, and they have great craftsmen, women for everything, and they started shooting like Game of Thrones there over years and years, and then basically they developed a whole filmmaking community in all departments, from,
That's cool,
as I said, runners up to specialists in everything. Yeah,
so
they did.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, I met Val. Everybody knows, they listen, they know my wife, Val. And we met, and I had a video company. I mean, nowhere near the level you at, but I'm interested in it. I was interested in it. And she says, hey, I just working, as you can imagine, just people that own their own business, they understand too, just working 1,000 hours a week. And so Val and I get together, and she's going away for the weekend, and she goes, hey, you seen Game of Thrones? And I was like, no. She goes, I think you would like it. It's like 3 or 4 seasons in. And she goes, that seems like your cup of tea, And I said, all right, I'll check it out. So I said to my buddies at happy hour on Friday, I said, hey, this girl I've been dating, she says, Game of Thrones. And they're like, dude, you haven't seen that? And I'm like, no, man, I'm working and stuff. And they said, oh, you got to watch it. So I go to my apartment, and this was 10 years ago. And somebody goes, hey, man, you can use my HBO code, because I didn't have HBO at the time. Yeah. They're like, here's my little code to get on my account. Get on it. Dude, I start watching it. Long story short, I got to know the pizza guy and the Chinese delivery guy by name. The dude's like, I'll see you at dinner. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, dude. I'll see you at dinner. I watched all 4 seasons over the weekend. I came out on Sunday, and I was like, the sun's shining, I got a beard, and I'm like, ah. But going to the production value, right? Because I watch that all the time. So when I'm watching something, I like the production value. I want it to look, And the first season, I was deep into the video company at that time. So I'm watching the first season of Game of Thrones. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is that? What? There's plywood? Come on. And just, I would see things, right?
Yeah.
Dude, by the 4th season, I was like, woo, somebody got a budget.
It
was amazing, by the 4th season.
Yes, it developed very quickly. I think I remember watching the first season. I had the same impression as you, and I thought, wow, okay, they are trying a lot, but they don't have the money. And then when I watched like fifth season or something, it was insane how it
Oh,
developed.
insane.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing what money does, right?
Yeah.
But,
So
but
did you sleep on that weekend, or didn't you sleep at all?
no. So, did you watch the end of the first season?
Yes, but
Okay,
it's so long
so
ago.
spoiler alert: if you haven't seen the end, that's too fucking bad, dude. Because so get to the only thing Val told me is don't get invested in any characters because everybody gets killed, right? So watching it, and I'm kind of fading Friday night. Get to the end of the first season, and the what's her name, Darius or the Dragon Queen lady.
Yes. Isn't
So
it?
she
Yeah.
gets burned up, and I'm watching her get burned up, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to bed. And she walks out naked with dragons, and I went, God, shit! Now I gotta keep, son of a bitch. Now I gotta keep watching this. So I kept watching it anyway. But yeah, that was a great series. I enjoyed it. I tried watching it not too long ago because here in my studio, I got multiple screens, and I got I like to have like a bubblegum watch on the screen just for background noise, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't seem the first couple seasons didn't seem to hold up for me. Like it didn't. I was like watching it, going, all right. Still a great show. I'm not knocking it, but if you haven't seen it, I think it's amazing. But speaking of that, I found a clip of one of your recent movies,
Which one?
dude, bro. It was. Let me look here, dude. Oh, where the hell did it go? It was Paul's final scene in
Ah,
All's Quiet on the Western Front. And I'm just going to
yes.
call you an asshole right up front, dude. God damn, I got goosebumps just thinking about it. All went quiet when I was watching it. I watched it like an hour ago because we haven't seen the movie yet.
Mhm.
Val has not got up to the point to watch it because she's like, it's pretty heavy, huh? I go,
It
I'm gonna
is a heavy movie.
I'm gonna say it's pretty heavy. She's like, so we'd sit down and go to watch a movie, and I'm like, all right, here we go. She's like, oh, I don't know if I can handle that tonight. And I go, all right, and it's been like that. So, but she sends her love, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, so I do have a couple questions on this movie.
Yes, go ahead.
Holy cow, dude! If you guys listen and haven't seen it, I haven't seen it, but I watched 5 or 6 clips. And how long did that movie take you to do?
It was in the middle of COVID lockdown. We shot everything in Prague, so we started preparing it, I think, in August of or September of 2020, correct? Yes. And then we prepared it, planned it, built all the sets in the winter there. And then, yes, and then the COVID struck and there was a complete lockdown in January in Prague. And then we started shooting, I think, in February. And we shot for 54 shooting days. And only just there was no second unit, no stunt unit, nothing. It was only one unit, and we shot every shot in this
In
movie
54 days.
in 54 days.
Okay, so I assume you know what clip I'm talking about.
I know the scene, but I'm not sure what. Yes, I don't know the clip.
So these two guys are fighting in a trench, and the one guy goes to get away, and they're standing there facing each other, and the other dude's buddy came up and stabbed a guy in the back with a bayonet. Dude, and then the scene, at the end of the scene, where that guy's still alive, I'm assuming it's Paul.
Yes.
He's still alive, and he's watching these two guys walk out of the bunker. Bro, go! I was like, Benedict, you get the fuck. Oh my god, dude! If the whole movie's like that. So was that outside? Was a lot of this shot outside, and was that weather made, or did you work in the real weather?
It's a combination of all. So we worked in real weather. We had like a terrible spring, temperature-wise and everything weather-wise, which was amazing for the movie. It was terrible for us to work because the movie looks cold and wintry all the time, and it was cold and wintry until we wrapped in May. So,
Oh,
and most nearly everything is shot in a battlefield that we built on a former airfield, on a Russian airfield. So we built it from scratch just for logistical reasons, because basically in the beginning we looked for a place that looked like a battlefield, and we went to a
right.
couple of places, and then we realized it looks nice, but we can't handle it logistically to bring in whatever 300 extras and put explosions in and cast and light it and put the mud in and everything. So and shoot it over weeks. So we built on a former airfield. In between the two landing strips, we built the battlefield. And
Well, was
go
all
ahead.
the so if you're in the middle of the battlefield, or I'm sorry, in the middle of the two strips, did you use the actual landing airstrips for logistical stuff like supplies and tents? So like you were on pavement.
Correct. So the tents, the base camp, where the craft service was, where all the extras were, where all the equipment was basically on the landing strips. And then we had some small hills that separated the landing strips from the battlefield. So when we're shooting in the battlefield, there was always like a natural barrier that we didn't
Hmm.
we that gave us a backdrop. And then we put in tons of haze and fog that we produced. So it kind of became an infinity set where in basically after whatever half a mile you wouldn't see anything anymore. So that's how we created this battlefield. But still, the set was huge. I think I can only say in meters, but I think it was something like 300 by 900 meters.
See,
So
the thing is with all of us here in the United States, we'll do everything we can not to use the metric system. So if you went, it was 75 elephants long, we'd be like, oh, yeah, I get that part. But if you go meters, we're like, I don't know what meters. Oh, how do we do meters? But anyway, uh,
it
yeah,
was huge.
yeah, I was just going to say huge, right?
Yes,
And
really
then
huge.
when you guys stay, like as the crew, do you stay there like in a tent or do you have like local hotel or something that you stay in?
No, we stayed in local hotels. We were staying in
Okay.
Prague city in nice apartments, but it was complete lockdown. So, and there was a curfew as well. So basically, we were only like staying in the apartments, going to work, working in the trenches, and going back, which was also a very strange experience because we basically lived in the trenches.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I'm going to get back to that because I like what you just said there. But the thing is, in my experience, in that scenario, like we would travel to do TV shows and commercials and stuff. That's all you would do anyway. Even if it wasn't locked down, dude, you'd be just go there and sleep and go right back to work every day, right?
Correct. Usually it's not that much difference. It's just if you don't even have a restaurant or a bar or anything that you can go to after wrap
Mm,
or on the weekends.
mm.
But in the weekends, you just sit in your apartment and you can't go out because of the curfew.
Yeah, yeah,
That was the difference, basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We did hit a couple bars. Yeah, yeah, we did that. We let off some steam at the end. Uh, but isn't that something that you actually went to work in a trench?
Yes. It was really like I think it was one of the craziest and best experience of the movies I ever did. Like, it also was like, because normally if you shoot a movie like this, which is a war movie and it's very complicated and it's period and it's World War I, normally you would shoot a lot of those things not in camera, but you would use a lot of CG and computer generated things afterwards and use VFX.
Right.
And in this case, it was very different because we didn't have the money. We didn't have the money to do huge VFX computer generated things like in a Marvel movie. So we had to have everything in camera, which means nearly every explosion, every gunshot, every whatever happens, every tank, it's all real. And the mud was basically how it looked in front of the camera was how it looked behind camera. So in the beginning, when we did construction work, we had construction workers who got stuck in the mud and had to be pulled out by a caterpillar, losing their pants and their shoes in the mud because it
Oh,
was so muddy there.
hell yeah. Now, the thing is, though, the thing is, you're saying that you make this movie, let's say, well, for lack of better terms, the old fashioned way,
Yes.
right? And you compared it to like a Marvel movie where you have the effects. Now, that makes me think that's why that scene, I'll keep reverting back to that scene as the last thing I watch. That makes me think that scene, that's why it's so impactful. Because it is real.
I agree. It's also, I talked to the actors and to cast a lot because it was for them also really a journey into a different time and into a different character. And they said, I'm not really acting. Everything is happening around me. I just have to be very precise with the storyline where my character is, how I'm feeling, and how much I already have seen and how my character evolves during the story. But basically, the whole thing, I don't have to imagine anything. I'm not sitting in a green box pretending there's a tank over there and this is happening over there. I'm deep into the mud and I'm freezing my ass off and I'm seeing a tank over there. And I'm going like crazy because everyone is shooting and rifles and mud and explosions are happening. So, yes.
Oof. Now, did you at any time be like standing there going, could you imagine being in this for real?
It was really, if you you couldn't really imagine it because even shooting it in controlled like circumstances, everyone with down jackets and rain jackets and extra boots and everything, still it was super tough.
Yeah.
And imagine that with the clothes that you had in World War One. And we went at RAP, we went home into apartments, had a warm shower, and those things. But if you would have stayed at night in the trench and slept there, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. But also did research. Most of the soldiers in the First World War died not because they were shot or anything. They died because of either infections or because they were like freezing to death or something like that.
Yeah. So we're talking about you being, you being in the trenches, the guys being in the actors being in the trenches and not using CGI and it's real because you're feeling it, you're seeing it, you're touching it. But imagine, I can't imagine, but let's just say that's for real. You're in this trench and this is what you're feeling. Like you said, you can't go get cleaned up, right? You're at night, you're trying to sleep, but the whole time somebody's trying to kill you.
Yeah, it's not, you can't imagine it.
No.
No.
What kind of anxiety that would give you over time, you know what I mean? No matter what, every corner you take, you're thinking, I can't pop my head up. Every time I come around this corner, there might be somebody there trying to kill me.
Yeah. Woo. It was also, even when we were shooting like a lot of battle scenes and then we were coming to a stage where at the middle of the movie, it's the first time they're in the trenches and they hear something and there are some tanks appearing. And it's the first time they are seeing tanks because they were completely new. It was a new way of war machines. And basically we shot that. And it was really like, also when we saw those tanks appearing, it was like when you're in the mud, in the trench, and you are like on your feet with nothing to protect you, and you see those tanks coming towards you, they didn't need to act that much, really, because also the extras, for them, it was crazy seeing those tanks, because especially those World War One tanks, they look
menacing.
Menacing. They're very slow and everything, and in reality they got stuck everywhere because they were basically like prototypes. Right. But only seeing them and thinking there's nothing you can do against them, it's like, and it's crazy. It was really crazy.
And the way they looked back then, and the noise they made and bellowing
Yes.
smoke and creaking and oh Jesus, and you've never seen anything like that before. Woo! So how the hell do you keep the all the actors and extras? Because this is like isn't a AD. That's kind of your job is to keep everybody wrangled up, right?
Yes. So I'm the first AD, so I'm doing all the
Oh, how
logistics
many
that.
ADs is there?
So there's a first AD, and then depending on the movie, there are more ADs.
Okay,
And
okay,
yes, and especially if you shoot a movie like All Quiet on the Western Front, and if you shoot the large crowd scenes, I have I have a second AD who is only doing all the logistics for the next day, just doing the call sheet and all the things, the timings when people have to arrive. And I also have someone with me who's running a set with me because those sets are huge. And
hmm
so I'm running a set. I'm preparing over months that everything is which is needed is there at the right time, which means every piece of equipment, every whatever extra. And I have a whole department that is casting extras, fitting extras, and directing the extras. But I'm overseeing all those things.
right. So now, do you? I mean, to do all this in 54 days, that's what you're talking about. Is months prior, you're getting everything lined up. Being, hey, you need to. I need this delivered on the 12th day by noon, so we can use it on the 13th day. You know that kind of thing, right? The logistics of it.
Correct, and sometimes it's also, especially when you shoot a complicated film, it's really like you talk to all departments, which is in this case it's stunts, it's special effects, it's visual effects, it's costume department, it's makeup department with all the wounds and everything, and you talk through the whole movie shot by shot just to make sure, like over weeks and weeks, just to make sure that everything is there at the right time and that everyone is aware what the next steps would be.
Right.
And then I create something like a shooting board, like a one-liner where you break down every scene that you shoot on each day or even parts of scenes. And then I do breakdowns, which is basically lists of everything that has to be there. And every department does their own lists because I'm only doing rough lists, but I'm not mentioning every weapon, for example.
Right.
Like
Right.
it's not even like I'm mentioning how many rifles should be there and how many of them should be practical and how many are dummies and how many are rubber rifles,
Right.
but I'm not counting. But in this case, I even had to like do a breakdown at the beginning for how many rounds of ammunition we're going to shoot because basically all those, especially the machine guns,
Oh yeah.
they
Sure.
every round you have to produce because they're not existing anymore. And I was sitting there with the director and the weapon master came to us and said, how many rounds of ammunition do we need for that French machine gun and how many for the German machine guns and how many rifles overall? So we did our math on every shot and thought, okay, and I think in the end we ended up with something like 15,000 rounds that we shot
No shit.
of blanks. Yeah.
See, when somebody watches that, unless you're in the pardon the pun, unless you're in the trenches about it, you wouldn't think that because you want it to look authentic, right? So now you have an actual World War I gun, and you want
Correct.
to rip out 1,000 rounds out of it. Where do you get it? Right?
Yes. So I
Oh my
think
God! Yeah,
yes,
that's pretty cool.
and those are all the things that when you see a movie, you don't realize, especially with a complicated movie, what is needed to shoot a normal scene there. Because also all the sets we had to water them down because if you see the sets before you shoot it and you don't have the fog and haze in there and you don't have a wet down there and you don't have anyone who is arranging all the fires that are still burning and the craters from the ammunition, it looks basically like nothing. But if you
Oh,
bring all those pieces together and you're in the set, I have photos of our shoot that look exactly like the movie in the end.
that's crazy. So, how many? Going back to the arms, did you have a company or a group of people, men, women? What do you call 'em? Master of arms? Imagine something like that.
A weapon master, yeah.
Weapon
Yes,
master.
basically a master, yeah.
So were you shooting live rounds?
We were shooting blanks.
Okay.
Yes, and also there are different kind of blanks. So basically, you try to also as a first AD, you are responsible for security and
Yeah,
safety
yeah,
and
yeah.
health and safety of crew and of cast especially. So I work very closely with the weapon masters and make sure that basically you always use the least. You always go for a solution that is the most secure. So if you can replace a practical rifle by a dummy rifle because you're far away, then you do it. And basically, and that also means you have blanks with different amounts of how do you say,
Like powder in it.
of
See how
like
loud they
powder in
are.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you have like the smallest amount to the highest amount, depending on how close you are with the camera to the weapon, and if it's dark or if you shoot in daylight and you want to see a muzzle flash in daylight, you use the biggest portion. And if you're
Damn,
shooting
dude.
nights, you can go for small ones. Yes,
Dude.
and basically everything that is close to camera, you still try. It's better to do it with blanks because also a lot of things are mechanically happening in a rifle
Right.
that is only happening if you have rounds in it and if you can shoot ammunition with it. So you have to shoot blanks that basically everything is moving.
Right. Yeah. Now the other question is, where'd you find a tank?
The tank was a mixture of, it was a mock-up, what we call in the movie business. It's basically, it was a Russian tank, or it was two Russian tanks, where the art department built a mock-up, which was made of, I think, metal and plywood and painted it. So, and then they stuck 20 video cameras on it so the tank driver could see where he was going because basically everything where he normally looked out of the tank was covered by the
Covered.
mock-up.
Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty cool. I had some ladies on that did a movie out west in the United States, and they went to the town and they said, "Hey, listen, we want to make sure that everybody's cool in this town that we're going to come and make this movie, prior, you know, doing their research and doing what they're supposed to do." And they're like, "By the way, in the movie, we burn a barn down. Is anybody willing to burn their barn down?" 3 people volunteered to have their barn burnt down for the movie. And then they go, "We need a locomotive, like they said the style of locomotive, like an old fashioned train, And that one of the guys that volunteered to have his barn burnt down had a working locomotive. And they're like, "How do you come?" The guy's like, "Yeah, it's just in my barn, dude. I've had it in my barn." It's like, dude's just got a locomotive in his barn. It's kind of fun, though, to hear how things come about like that. That's why I asked you about the tank. Because I was thinking some old World War One enthusiast is like, "Oh, you need a tank? I have a working tank. You guys could use it." Nope, I lost you.
Now you can hear me.
Now I got you.
Sorry.
That's
But
okay.
yeah, now a lot of things like this, I think, happen all the time, that you have so crazy coincidences where basically you go on a location tour and you discover things like that you never imagined, like either old cars in some barns or something, and they can use it. But yes,
Yeah.
and also with, I think sometimes I don't even want to hear where all the things are coming from or where they are sourced from because there are so many ridiculous stories behind things.
You're like, do we have this that we need? Yeah, how'd you get it? And they just look at you, you're like, never mind. Just I don't want to know about it. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
But dude, I got it. We'll watch it because that scene was incredible, dude. And people listening, man, I'll put the link in the show notes.
Cool.
The other thing I was wondering, you've done a lot of stuff, a lot of movies. What do you like better? Um, like feel good ones or the war movies?
It's a difference if I do, like, if I work on them or if I watch them.
Well,
Because
we're working on them though.
yes, if I work on them, for me it's like something like a war movie is for me way more interesting than shooting a rom-com, for example,
It's
because
more what? It's more what?
it's more interesting for me
Yeah, yeah,
because it's
yeah.
more challenging. I do the logistics and the planning on a movie, and if two people are sitting in a room talking to each other or falling in love, and this is everything that happens in a movie, for me, it's not very challenging.
Right.
But if I'm sitting on my sofa back home, I, I'm not even sure if I would watch movies like All Quiet on the Western Front. I watched it now several times and everywhere because I think it's an amazing movie and I'm quite proud of it, to be honest. But it's not usually if I'm sitting on a sofa, I'm trying to relax and I'm not
You're gonna
watching a
watch the
movie.
world ending?
That is basically like keeping me awake the next 3 days.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's what I get too. Now I like action movies, but I like the I call them a bubblegum watch, where it's like
Yeah.
like the Marvel movies, completely ridiculous, dude. And because you just watch and there's a bunch of explosions and people fly around and you're like, okay. Um, but before All Quiet on the Western Front won some awards.
Yes. So
What are you embarrassed? Come on, man, tell me
it
about it.
is. It is like this. Like as an assistant director, you don't win any awards because basically the awards go to the director, the awards go to the head of departments, which is production design,
Mm,
the DOP, camera, or the producers, which is best movie. But basically, you're involved in everything as assistant director. You support all the departments that they can do their work, and which was normally it doesn't really get that much recognized in the public that what assistant directors do. But in this case, like on All Quiet, it was really beautiful and nice because I got invited to. No one was a. Well, we wouldn't even expect that this would be a success. This movie, we thought it would be a great movie, but it was still a kind of a small German production. It was a
okay.
Netflix production as well, but it was not huge. And I think once we started shooting, we all realized it might be it might become a great movie. Sometimes you just are shooting something and you realize it might become great. But still, it doesn't mean anything. So there are a lot of movies where you're on set and you think it's great, and then you see it in the editing room, and then you see the final result, and then you realize it's not great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It rarely happens the other way around that you think it's bad and then it turns out great. But sometimes you assume it will be great and it doesn't turn out great. But then it started basically on several festivals and people loved it and then it was still a German movie in German language and we thought no one will ever watch it outside Germany really or get interested. And then I
Right.
think it started that we went to the BAFTA Awards, which are the British Movie Awards, and what was really nice is that I got invited as well. So I was traveling with all the HODs all the head of departments which were
Oh, that's
nominated
cool.
and director, and I and then at the BAFTAs we won I think 7 BAFTAs for the movie, and were the most successful movie at the British Awards, which are shortly before the Academy Awards. And then we got the Academy Award nominations, and I think we got 7. Was it 7 or 8
Oh, I
nominations?
can tell you if you want. Come on, man. I know you know this stuff. You're just being humble, buddy. Come on. Let me see here. What it tell me?
I know that it got 4 Academy Awards in the end, but I'm not sure how many nominated. I think it was 7, maybe 8.
How'd it
I
go?
don't know.
9 Academy Award
Oh, nine.
nominations,
Okay.
winning 4, including Best International Feature Film, 14 BAFTA. Is that
Yes,
right?
14 BAFTA nominations.
And
That
you
was
won
crazy.
and you won 7, dude.
Yes.
Hey, that'll keep you on the bench, man. 50%. Come on,
Yeah.
dude.
No, it's great.
So you said it in the public, people, you're the AD, first AD, and you're like, hey, people in the public really don't see that, or however you worded it.
Yeah.
Okay. But in the industry, when you talk to somebody and you're like, I was the first AD on All Quiet on the Western Front, they're like, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. right? I
Yes,
mean, the
yes,
industry knows what that means.
yeah, definitely. Because if as an assistant director, if I do my work great, then I support everyone in shining and doing their work brilliantly. And if I mess it up, they can do their work as good as they want. They don't have the
Right.
right things, the right tools at the right time. They waste money, and a lot of money could be wasted if a first AD plans wrong. And most movies, if yes. So basically, even if I'm not responsible for anything like in particular that you see in a movie, I am responsible for everything, because if I don't plan it, it won't be there, it won't work out,
Right. Right. Right.
and we lose a lot of money. And basically, that is why in the industry the good first ADs are quite well known and respected, because you can have the best head of department, the best director, costume designer, director of photography. But in the end, if they don't get the things the moment they want it, or if someone doesn't organize it properly, then they are lost somehow.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
it's like obviously it's a business, but you have department heads, and you obviously you want the best photographer to be in that department. You want the best costume person to be in that department. Well, just because they're the best costume department doesn't mean they can wrangle 10 department heads all at once.
correct. Yes.
Right, right. So that's where you come in. That's pretty cool. All right. So when you and your lovely wife are sitting there watching, or you're going to sit or go to the movies or sit at a night and watch a movie, what kind of movies do you watch?
It really is something like depends what the day was like and where we are. I watch lots of series where I don't
Oh,
have to
yeah.
think that much, but basically I also watch a lot of things that I have to watch because I have to know what this
Research?
person or that person has done, and also a lot of research. But also I think it's sometimes I watch movies as a research, pure research, where I think, okay, I have to watch that. I'm not interested, but I have to see how they've done that. But most of the time, I'm watching movies and series just for pure entertainment, honestly. But I'm learning a lot, and it's always like, if it's a really good movie or a really good series, I completely forget to look at it from a professional point of view. I'm just watching it, getting sucked into the story, and then I forget that this is really a movie, and I forget to analyze how they've done anything. That
Right.
that is a very good sign for a great movie or great series when I forget to try to understand how they did it.
Yeah. No, I still do that. It's like somebody will be in a scene, it'll change the scene, it'll come back to that person like instantly, and they have a different color shirt on. You're like, oh, bro, come on, man. You can't be that obvious, you know? And I understand why it happens, but it's like, and that's a drastic, I was just making that as a drastic point. But like their necklace is skewed off, or their hair is in a different position, or, that kind of thing.
Yes,
I,
yes,
I like how you said that, because about being sucked in when it's really good, that you don't pay attention to that anymore. Like
yeah.
I do the same thing. Like it doesn't happen often, but we're watching a TV show now called White Lotus, and I don't pick it apart. I just watch it because I'm just interested in it. So that's pretty neat that you said it, because I never thought of it that way. But we'd be done with a movie. I'm like, oh man, I didn't even. Wow, that was a good movie. And then if I don't like it, Of course, I start picking it apart. Right? I mean,
Yes, but
yeah,
that is really like it's the best sign if you watch a movie or a series, for me especially, and I forget about it. It's really like it's movie magic. You get sucked into it,
hmm
and you enter a different universe, and you don't think about anything else. You just watch it.
yeah. Do you like episodic stuff better than?
I think it's a time to time thing. When I'm working on a movie and I'm shooting, I try to only watch things that are very very different to what I'm doing right now. So
Cleanse the palate a little bit.
exactly, because I then it relaxes me. Then if
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
somehow comparable to what I'm doing, I'm always comparing and trying to learn something, which is not relaxing.
hmm
So
hmm
so and that's why I'm, yes, always watching different things.
Yeah, and isn't it funny that with me, a certain level of an action movie relaxes me.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Now that
Same
clip,
for me.
that clip I watched of your movie did not relax me, dude. It got me all worked up.
No, it's not a relaxing movie at all.
But
It
that's
really
a
isn't.
that's what you want though. You want an emotional roller coaster ride, right? You want to be like
Yes,
sucked in, and now I want to see how he got to that point.
yes. No, I think that is also why this movie is so like everyone watched it. And also why it won so many awards because it's so different than most movies. It's not an action movie in a normal way. It's really like it puts you into the shoes of the soldiers, which with all the emotions and everything. And it's not even that we concentrated on the action. There's a lot of action in it, but we always focused on the character, and it's more like I'm not sure if it's a right comparison. It's not like an ego shooter, but it's a little bit like a real emotional ride that you can imagine a soldier in the First World War went through. So it puts you in the shoes of the soldiers.
Oh no, 1,000%. That clip that I watched when those guys were leaving, I'm going to say the bunker or trench or whatever, because they were going up the stairs into the light, and he was stabbed, but he wasn't dead yet. And he's like walking toward the steps as those guys are walking away, like with a look on his face, like, don't leave me, like now I'm alone. And like,
Yeah.
dude, it sucked me in. Like I said, fucker, God damn, I can't get it out of my head now. Now, with all these extras, did you have, or you personally, a ritual like to get together with your crew in the morning and talk about the day, or like have like a little ritual or like a little gathering to hype everybody up or anything like that?
It's always dependent, like on the movie and on the people I work with. I'm lucky to work with Edward Berger, who was the director on All Quiet on the Western Front, and I did the last movie with him, and I'm now preparing a movie with him again. So, and we are very much a match how we approach things. And he's very precise, and he wants to talk it all through, and he wants to all understand everything. And that for him or with him, it was always like this. We were there in the morning in the trenches before the sun rose, and basically we talked like 1 hour, 1.5 hour with the cameraman, the DOP, and with the camera operator. We talked through every shot that we really knew what we're gonna do, like every camera position, everything before anyone arrived. So when the moment where people arrived, we already knew what we're gonna do. And so basically, and then if I have huge crowd days, I have a lot of ADs that assist me, assistant directors, who do a pep talk for the crowd. But also in this case, it was really nice because we had more or less like a whole bunch of people, like I think 300 extras that we used over several days. So basically, they got used to the trenches, we got used to them, they got used to shooting, and it became very natural. So we didn't have to brief them, and also for them, it was the same as for the actors. Was they were watching what is happening and they were reacting.
Yeah.
Yes, we just had to make sure like that they really made it out of the trenches in the end of the day, because as I said, it was crazy muddy, and we started counting off to make sure that everyone left the battlefield, because the moment it got dark, this was really like you couldn't even, and we got lots of dummies for lying there, like because there were some people like dummies that we really were melting into the ground already, because we couldn't have enough extras, and we didn't want to have extras lying in the mud the whole day.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we put dummies face down into the mud. But in the end of the day, you weren't sure, is this the extra still lying there, or is it a dummy? So we had to check on all of them.
So in the beginning of the day, you're like, all right, we have 347.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, you're like, we have 346. Shit.
So it never happened. They made it all out of the
Oh,
trenches.
good. All right.
But we counted, and for sure there were days where we're still missing people, and we had to look for them, and
Yeah.
some were just hanging out there. Like, but you want to make sure that everyone makes it out of the trenches.
So going back to the morning thing, where you guys, you and the director get in the trench before the sun come up. So you guys are in the trenches as it's dark and the sun's coming up. How is that? How did that feel like being in that scenario? And was that a little haunting?
It is haunting, but also I like it a lot. I usually come to set very, very early. Normally,
sure.
if I work with other directors, normally other directors usually come when the crew appears. They don't come that early, but Edward loves to be that early. Normally, I'm there on my own. Like
Right.
it feels like I'm there like half an hour before anyone is there, and I can watch. Like I just look at the scenario, and I think the day through, and I watch the sunrise, which is kind of feels like the calm moment before the storm comes.
Yeah.
But basically, when you work with Edward Berger, you're already like you never get that calm moment because he's there already super alert saying, so let's talk about that, let's plan that, let's see if that works, now we have to rethink that. Yes.
So on your rom-com, did you get to the the TV set with the couch and all that and sit there for an hour and go through all your scenes?
It's really like I think that the last at least 10-15 years I didn't do any movies like that. But I remember in the past when I did movies like that, yes, more or less I do that. I come in, no one is there, I sit on the sofa and just think who's going to sit where, but nothing really happens. There's nothing I can prepare. But
right, yeah, but to get the feeling of it, no, I could see that.
Yeah.
I would do something like that as well. Yeah. And like you said, you see it before it's filled with people and all the chaos. You said you did. Oh, go ahead.
And it's really like the interesting thing is that sometimes you plan out a day over months and you imagine how it would look, how it would feel. And you can imagine everything, but it's so different when things become real. And it can be a little thing, like a scene that you read 1,000 times, which is just like one actor doing something. And then you are next to the camera and you start really having tears in your eyes because it's so touching and so different than you imagined it. Or it can be amazing moments where you're like on All Quiet on the Western Front when you're there and you shout action and suddenly a whole battlefield starts moving and explosions are going up. And you can imagine it, but the moment it happens, it's insane.
Yeah. And you're like, I created this. Yeah. How long did it take to create the battlefield before you guys got there to shoot?
I think we started digging the trenches. Now, first of all, we got rid of all the former grenades and bombs that were still sitting there because it was a military airport and also a Russian training field or something for the military.
So you had to go through this place and get all the mines out.
Yes, exactly.
Holy shit, dude.
And then a lot of caterpillars came in and started digging the trenches before the ground froze. So I think that happened in November. And then I think in January they continued building all the plywood and all the things and all the things in the trenches and did the design of it. But still we were far away. So I think it was something like 3 months of building time.
Damn.
And also it was when we did the first tests for us, only like the DOP, the director, and the camera operator and we had no clue how to photograph this because basically we knew that it should look realistic, but basically we realized if it is realistic, we can't even move with the camera because we get stuck in mud. No one can move. If we tell 100 extras in the cast to charge and run through the mud, they will stumble after 10 seconds and then they're all stuck. So we had to build something like roads into the set that we covered with mud and water again, so it wasn't obvious that those are roads, and we put some things in like Spanish riders and things so to cover it that it was roads. So we did a lot of testing to find out how we're going to shoot it, because there were no. We talked to a lot of people who did movies like that before, but they were all very different. They were all shot different. So, and we tried out a lot. But then in the end, we ended up with the most simple solution. Most of the shots are basically a camera that is setting in a gimbal, which just stabilizes the camera.
Yeah.
And it's two guys carrying that camera and running with
the crew.
cast. And there's a camera operator with a remote head that operates the camera. But basically, two people are carrying a camera and running all the time, all the things there, because it was the only way where we could really be close to cast and be with them and feel how it would feel.
Occam's razor, right? Simplest thing is the best, usually the answer, right?
Yeah, yes.
Now, did they give it with the two guys running? I understand that a gimbal tends to stabilize it, but with two guys running, did it give it the little shaky, so it kind of looks chaotic, like you're running with them?
It depended what we wanted, but I think most of the shots are pretty stable and don't look like a handheld camera. They're not very crazy. It's more like quite stable shots for that we are running through the mud and everything. And we also had for sure some tracking vehicles also shots, but it was basically most of the things are gimbal shots when we're moving. Yeah,
that's pretty neat. And then I like what you said. Never even heard of that. So you went down in the mud a little bit and, like you said, made a road of some kind, like put a material down like wood or whatever, covered it with a little bit of mud and water so it looked like they were rushing through mud and water, but they could actually move.
Yes.
That's awesome, dude. Little movie magic. No kidding. Now, backing up the director, you said you worked with him before. What movie was that?
I worked with him afterwards. All Quiet on the Western Front was the first time we worked together. So we just met.
I thought you did
that was
one.
the first one. No,
that
was the first time. But since then we did 2 movies together, and I'm preparing the next one with him. So
can you talk about the 2 that you did already?
Yes. One was a movie that is only available on Apple, which we did. It's a short movie, but it was quite complicated. We shot it for a new format that they're producing for the Apple glasses, like what is it called?
The virtual glasses or
the
whatever?
virtual glasses, yeah. It was something like it was really crazy because it's basically a 360-degree experience, and we shot it with a prototype camera that they had, and it was a story of a sinking submarine, World War II. So basically, it's a little bit like it's a mixture of a commercial and something where they show off what you can produce nowadays and how immersive
it
can be.
So the idea behind it is, so I would put these. God, I can't know what they're called either. The virtual, like the goggles, right? Not the actual,
exactly.
like the goggles. And you watch this, and like you'd be standing in your living room and spin around, and it'd be 360, like you're in a sinking submarine.
Exactly. So basically, you have them on, and you can look around, and basically you and the camera. So you can look to the floor, you can look to the ceiling,
right.
You can hear something to your left, and you just turn your head to the left. You can see what is there, which is a complete new way of movie making. It's very complicated still because it is a prototype, and before us, they only shot like documentaries or like fixed cameras, and it's still amazing if you have the goggles on, you watch it, and they have some documentary stuff where you are next to a river and you see a grizzly bear passing by you, and you really feel the grizzly bear really next to you. That's why they came up with the idea they have to shoot something which is a scripted movie scene, and we ended up like doing a 20-minute movie of a sinking submarine in World War II, where the soldiers try to rescue themselves and dive out of the submarine.
So the idea behind it is like you're right there in the middle of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no shit. I can see that going in all directions. Yes. Of course.
And that was something that we did last year, and then afterwards we did a normal like movie that we shot in Hong Kong and Macau, China. for 4 months, which is called Ballad of a Small Player. And I think it will be released in autumn this year.
Yeah, I see it on your filmology or
Yes,
filmography or whatever. Yeah. Ballad. What's that about? Ballad of a Small Player.
it's a story about a gambler who is going to the casinos, and he's, I would say he's addicted to gambling, but it's a mixture of several things. It's a, I would say, a mixture of a love story, a Chinese ghost story, and story of a gambler.
That's a hell of a
So,
mix.
yeah. And it's also not clear if it's a comedy or if it's a tragedy or what it is, because it has everything in it, which I love about it, because it's so funny in between. It's beautiful, and it's also very tragic, and it's a mix of everything. It's a whole bag of mixed emotions, and hopefully I haven't seen the final edit so
Oh,
far, but I'm pretty sure it will turn out great.
and it's not out yet.
No, it will be released, I think, in autumn this year.
So
Yeah.
so far you go from a rom com on a couch to a battlefield to a sinking submarine to a casino. See, this is
Yes,
what's
in
great
China.
about being in the movie business, dude.
Yeah, that's what I love about it, because basically, for sure, you learn a lot of things that you can adapt for the next movie you're doing. But there are so many things you've never encountered before, so it never gets boring. So you're either in a country where you've never been before, you you have a topic or the main topic of a movie which you've never seen before, and you dive into a whole new world, producing the movie and getting into it, and you become like not really like an expert, but at least you get a certain kind of knowledge on some topic because you work on something. Like I can tell you so many things about World War I that I've never known before, or
Right.
I learned so much things about casinos and gamblings and how casinos work, and about how Chinese baccarat or Macau baccarat works, which is a card game, which is absolutely crazy and
It
insane. And
it's insane. I watch people because I go to the casino play cards,
yeah,
and what they do is there's groups of Chinese people that all put their money together and send one person there to play, and they
yeah.
win or lose, and then they divide it up accordingly. Yeah, there's like a whole culture around baccarat, dude.
And it's really interesting because the Chinese culture of gambling is so different than the Western culture, because
Hmm.
they are, everything is so different. All the things that we would do, they don't do. So it's all the things that I had to learn, because I have to stage extras, and I have to understand what would the Chinese players do, how do they react in a casino,
Yeah.
what is the superstition behind this, what do you do, what do you don't never do, and also to understand. I think baccarat is it's kind of a weird game, because it's not a game like blackjack where you can strategize, or where you can choose if you get the next card. So you can be strategic about it. But in baccarat, it's all like you only get the card. There's a certain system where you get the next card, so there's nothing you can decide. So it's,
Yeah.
from my perspective, it's pure luck, nothing
It's
else.
just gam. I call that a slot machine. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
man. You just might as well go put your money. Baccarat's a complete mystery to me. I have a friend that just is so addicted to it, but I'm like, you're on your own, dude. You know, I like cards, the style I play Texas Hold'em. I got a little bit of control of what you can do. You know, you can get away from it, you can get involved with it, whatever. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
I get it. This is something where you can influence something. Those are
right.
the card games that I understand and I like. But I didn't understand baccarat till the end, because I thought, why do you play this? It's really like, even if you're not there, the results would be the same. There's no choice, nothing.
I like. I'm going to use that on my buddy, dude. Even if you're there or not, the results are the same.
It
Why you're
is.
even here? Well,
Yes.
I like now. Obviously, I like a casino because of it gives me the opportunity to play a game that I enjoy. but a casino is a parasite to a community. It's not. It's not a good thing to put in a community, like in
No.
a neighborhood or something like that. No, I'm not a big fan of that. But so with that one, the ballot, you weren't in the rain. You were in a nice 72-degree temperature controlled casino. Probably had a nice suite in the casino to stay in, right?
Yes, but still, it's Macau, China is not Las Vegas. So it's very different. It's very different because somehow, since the Chinese, it's not entertainment for them, the gambling. It's pure gambling and it's only superstition. So everything that is like all around what casinos are, or what the world of casinos are that we imagine is not existing there. It's basically pure gambling, and it's all about the money, and it's way more money than I imagined in the first place before I came there, because I think the turnaround of in Macau is 3 times the turnaround of Las Vegas of money in a year, which is insane.
That's it. That's a lot of money going around.
Exactly, and it's a very
Oh.
small place. So, and it's also yes. Go ahead.
Well, they're so you're saying they're I don't know much about it, but their attitude would what you're saying is they just go in there, try to make as much money as possible, and leave.
Yes, but if you really are there and you hear the stories about the high rollers that are coming there, it is like in the movies. It's like we were shooting in some suites. They're basically, they can't even rent them, and lots of them. It's just like suites where the high rollers, they come in with a jumbo jet that basically the casino pays. They come
Sure.
with their whole family in that jet, a private jumbo jet. They go into the suite that is reserved for them, and then they start gambling. And if they're winning, then they will come back because they are so superstitious. They will play there again, and in the
Yeah.
end, they will lose. And yes, we had days where we talked to a casino manager, and he said it was a good day because there was a high roller who lost this morning at 10 a.m. 54 million already. So it's a really a different world, and
Yeah.
it's also interesting because if you're there for a day, you're still in the illusion of this whole thing of winning something. But if you're there for 4 months, like I was, and we were working there, you realize that this is a place with a lot of very unhappy people
People.
and
Yeah.
people that lose their lives. And
Yeah.
basically, it's a machine that makes people lose their lives.
100%.
Yes.
100%. Absolutely. And like you said, like I'll go to the casino, I walk through it to get to a card game, and you get that little, rush because the lights and you're in a casino, right? But I've spent enough time in Vegas at the casinos going in and out with a card game. You see it's not good, man. It's dark and it's not a good scene.
Yeah, but I still think that in Las Vegas it's a better illusion. In Macau, it's really like the script version of it without all the wonderful
Bells
blah
and
blah.
whistles.
Exactly. It's just like you see what it really is.
It's like a dark basement with a baccarat table. Come on in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Well, we're gonna wrap this up, buddy.
Oh wow, that went by fast. Yeah.
Fast. Well, I could talk to you till Sunday if you want. That's cool. I always enjoy talking to you, my man. Uh,
Likewise.
you're. I'll give you the mic for a second if you want to tell everybody where to find you to check out your stuff and.
Yeah, so basically, thank you. Basically, you can find me on IMDb, like Internet Movie Database, where Benedict Herman is my name. So you can look me up, and there you see all the movies and all the things that I've done. And yes, and you can watch them. Basically, you can watch the trailers on IMDb, but you will find
To
most
check
of the
out where
movies.
they are and stuff.
Exactly.
Of course, I'll put the link down there. What's next for you and your lovely wife?
So I'm away now for 4 weeks for the first location recce, and then I have some time off in August, and we have no plans what we're going to do, but
Good for
hopefully
you.
we spend a lot of time together because from then on, from September on until May next year, I'll be traveling all over Europe for the next movie that I'm preparing.
Damn, dude. And we're gonna circle back around because I want to hear about that one. But the thing is, spend time with her. It's like that's my attitude as well. Is like you said, it don't matter what we're doing, as long as we're hanging out together, dude.
Yes,
You
definitely.
know.
That's really like that is the most important thing that I really learned over the years. For you can travel all the world and go to crazy places and experience crazy things, but basically, I'm so happy to have a great relationship, a lovely wife, and basically that is the foundation of all the craziness that to endure all the craziness that I have in my business and film life. So
Oh,
I'm
100. Oh,
always happy
absolutely.
to go back, and always we try to see each other wherever I am, at least every 3 weeks if I'm away, or every 2 weeks. So
Will she? Well, when you're away for a while, could she travel and see you for like a weekend and stuff like that?
yes, it depends. Last year was pretty tough when I was in Macau, China, which is
Sure.
basically on the other side of the world. So the flights is like a non-stop 15-hour flight. But usually if I'm around, I try to fly home every second weekend, or she comes to visit.
Comes to you.
Yes.
Yeah. And going back to what you were saying, spending time together. We were we were doing our vacation coming up, and somebody's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I have no idea, dude." And they're like, "What do you mean?" I go, "My wife puts all that together." And she tells
Nice.
me, she's like, "This is okay. This is where we're going." And pack this, and we get in the car, and she throws it on the map, and that's where I go, right? And they're like, "Oh, you're one of those guys." And I go, "What the hell do you mean by that?" I said, "My wife and I've been together so long. First of all, as long as I'm hanging out with my family, I don't care if it's the backyard, the living room, Vegas, a beach. It doesn't matter. As long as the three of us are together, I don't give a shit where we are because we're going to make a
Yes.
good time of it, right?"
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Yeah. And then on the other hand, my wife knows, and I trust her, what I like and what I don't like, and what I need and what I don't need. So she just sets everything up, and because she likes to do it. That's the other part. She's the logistical part of it. To where me, I'm just like throw a bunch of shit in a backpack and be like, "Where are you going?" Hell, I ain't got a clue, dude. And I just make it work. So she puts the flights together and does all that. But
Sweet.
yeah, we have it's same thing, dude. Is we just got Val and I were just talking about this, that our life is pretty hectic. We don't, we see each other in passing most of the week, right? But when we do see each other, it's amazing, right? But we also support each other in the activities that we're doing. So, like when she's doing her activities, she can be fully involved in that activity, knowing that I support her.
Hmm.
She's in like, I'll be at a poker table. I don't even think about her. I'll come home and she's like, "You miss me?" Fuck, man, I didn't even think about you, be honest with you. But I know that she supports me. So now I can sit there and enjoy what I'm doing, not going, "Man, by the time I get home, she's going to be pissed because I'm out doing this." You know what I mean? We don't
I
have that.
I like that what you're saying, because it gives you, and it's basically the same in our relationship. It gives you the freedom that you are where you are, and you don't have to think about what is happening back home. It doesn't mean that you're not interested in what is back home,
Right.
but you are where you are. When you're with your wife, you're with your wife, and when you're doing something else at your work, or you're at the poker table or anywhere,
That's
you
where
are
you
there
are.
where you are. Exactly.
Yeah. And then it's quality over quantity, right?
It
So
is.
I could get home in the afternoon, hang out with Logan for 2 hours, and he gets 150% of my attention. Well, that's better than 10 hours and a piece here and a piece there and a piece here and a piece there.
Yeah.
Oh, you only spent 2 hours with your kid? Dude, he had all my attention. The phone,
Yes.
work, everything could burn to the ground, because it's just him and I. Right. So that's the way we've been doing it. And it's kind of fun that's why I was asking you about your travel with her and that kind of stuff and how you guys handle that.
Yeah, but it's as you said, it's really like the quality of the time. It's really like if you're with someone, or if I'm with my wife, I'm giving her the attention, and I'm there, and not like in my thoughts somewhere else, or I'm not And then that is a huge difference where some people hang out together over weeks and spend every minute with each other, but they don't spend time with each other. They are somewhere away in their thoughts and doing other stuff.
Yeah. That's why I look at it. Yeah. Benedict.
What?
It was a damn pleasure, my man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, really. Thanks for coming on. This has been a long time coming. You've been on my hit list for a while, dude. So, but hey, hang tight for a second. I'm going to end the stream, but hang tight.
Yes.
All right. Thanks again, buddy. Bye, everybody. When your head stops spinning with all the shit that you just learned about making a movie, check out Benedict's Filmology. Link is in the show notes. I bet you he would love to hear from you as well. And make sure you check out this movie and his other movies too, of course. We talked about it during the episode, but it is a very heavy movie. So don't think that you're going to cleanse your palate on a Sunday afternoon watching this, but it's amazing movie. It's definitely going to move you. All right, I'm going to get you out of here because I know you got shit to do, but don't forget, Live Rishi, High Speed Daddy, my website, and I do enjoy Dancing with a Hooker, but I would like to seal this deal. So I'd love for you to jump over to YouTube and subscribe. Get me to over 1,000. I'm right there at the mark. All right, guys. That's it for today. Be Raw Nation. Keep kicking ass. Till next time.
You out there? You listening?